Hello, Virgo. Welcome. Take a seat and relax. There is nothing you need to do in this present moment except to relax and enjoy your reading. To start your reading off, Virgo, we have card number 1. Hug it out, especially if it deals with yourself. Just hug it out. Stop beating yourself up if you've made mistakes. Stop beating yourself up if your life was heading in a direction that you didn't want it to go. The only thing that matters in this present moment is for you to hug it out. You know, this feels like when I was in college, right? I was going for mining engineering, and I had 2 semesters left, but I had so much anxiety and depression that those 2 semesters I failed over and over again. And I ended up being in college for like 6-7 years just because I kept failing those last semesters. And I could have beat myself up for it, you know, but eventually I just realized, hey, I think I keep failing these 2 semesters. My body keeps being, you know, depressed, and my mind kept being so anxious because that's not where I wanted my life to head towards. I didn't want to go and be a mining engineer for the rest of my life and just be a slave and work so many hours and not be home, and that's not what I wanted for my life. I wanted something different. And when I finally decided to quit college, to drop out, and I decided to do other things, my anxiety and depression slowly started going away. And they didn't just go away by itself. I worked hard on being okay with myself, on loving myself, on loving my environment, and just making sure I treated myself in a way that I deserved. And you know, I could have beat myself up. I could still keep beating myself up for it. But I know that everything that happened needed to happen in the way that it happened. And everything that's happened, you know, all of my mistakes, everything has led me to this present moment. And I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for all of those things that I went through. And so just hug it out, okay? Stop beating yourself up. Everything that you've gone through happened for a reason. And without all of those things, you wouldn't be in the present moment that you are in now. And I just want you to go after what it is that brings you love and not what brings you anxiety and depression. Cool, nice. King of Wands. Okay, so this is definitely probably has something to do with a career that you're going through, just like I was talking about. Because the King of Wands, the Wands is about movement, right? The Wands is all about why you would ever leave your house. Right? Your house is a safe home, is a safe place. So why would you ever leave it? Well, a lot of people leave it to go work, to go get money, right? A lot of people leave it to go get food so they can feed themselves and their family. So what is your reason? What would you be your reason to leave your home? Okay. In a bigger sense, right? God is one. We're all God. God decided to create this little human that is yourself. And so why would God ever leave home? Why would God ever leave heaven where nothing bad ever happens? Why would God make the human that you are right now? Why would you exist at this present moment that you are existing? That is a question that we all deserve to answer for ourselves, and we all deserve to find out. You know, why are we here? Why did we want to leave heaven and come down to earth? And we have the 6 of Cups here. The 6 of Cups is all about your inner child. Why? Well, this is the Cups, and the Cups are all about emotions. And the 6s are those emotions at their best. Okay, so this is like emotions at their best are how kids act, right? Everything they go through, they seek new adventures, they bring joy, they're having a good time no matter the situation that they're in. You know, they have no trauma, they have no negativity, they see a puddle and their instinct is to jump on it because how fun is that, right? Compared to an adult where they see a puddle and they think, I don't want to get wet. I am going to go around the puddle. But how cool is that splash? So what is your reason for leaving your home? The inner child within you knew why they left heaven to become a puny little human. Whatever brought you joy when you were a kid is basically what you should chase after at this moment. And that is what I'm doing. When I was a kid, I loved math. I loved, I had straight A's in school. I didn't get my first B until like 8th grade. But I loved learning. I loved it. I was only child for 7 years, I think it was. And then I have a sister, but I mean, most of my time I just spent alone, So what did I do with an alone? I loved reading. I loved reading. My parents didn't really allow me to play video games. I played video games for half an hour a day. That was what they allowed me. I think I watched a decent amount of TV, but I loved reading. I loved learning. And I knew I kind of wanted to become a scientist. And I knew I wanted to become a sort of engineer. I wanted to design things. I loved learning about animals. I loved just learning in general. And so now me as an adult, instead of working and doing the same thing over and over again for the rest of my life, I decided to drop out because I wanted to keep learning. Because I knew if I was heading in the direction that I wasn't going to have time to learn anything new. I wasn't going to have time to chase after my passions, to chase after my joys. So that is why I'm here doing these videos, because this is one thing that I am learning about. I loved learning about tarot. I loved learning about myself. I love learning about spiritual things. I love learning about the universe. And that is why I am here. And I'm going to keep learning. I have ideas that I want to create, that I want to design, and that I am chasing after my passion. And I know that the inner child in me, right, me when I was a kid, he would look at me right now and he would look up to who I am right now, and he would be like, hey, I want to be like that guy. So make sure you feel the same. I'm tearing up right now and I almost feel like crying. So I think that's all you need to focus on right now. Hugging it out and embodying that person that the child version of you would look up to and be like, I want to be like that guy. That is what we all should strive for. And that is what you especially should strive for right now. Wow. And then we have some major arcana here, some major life movements. We have integration and transformation. Which one? I feel like reading one of these out of the book. I don't know which one I want to read though. So I'm going to flip this coin. And so this is going to be heads. This is going to be tails. I wonder. All right. It fell, but it went to integration. So let's see what this integration is about. Number 14 of the major arcana. All right, integration. So the image of integration is the unio mystica, the fusion of opposites. This is a time of communication between the previously experienced dualities of life. Rather than night opposing day, dark suppressing light, they work together to create a unified whole, turning endlessly one into the other, each containing in its deepest core the seed of the opposite. So it kind of feels like the child version of you and the adult version of you, and integrating both of them. Like, yes, adults need money, right? But doesn't mean that you have to set aside all of your passions and joys. It means integrate them, okay? So integrate the inner child, all of these emotions that you felt when you were a kid, and integrate them into the adult version of you, of who you are now, because those aren't two different people. Those aren't two opposing things, being a child and being an adult. They are the one and the same. They are, it's just this kid just grew older and had more experiences, but he didn't turn into something different. He has remained the same, just a little bit older now. So the eagle and the swan are both beings of flight and majesty. The eagle is the embodiment of power and aloneness. The swan is the embodiment of space and purity, gently floating and diving upon and within the element of the emotions, entirely content and complete within her perfection and beauty. We are the union of eagle and swan, male and female, fire and water, life and death. The card of integration is a symbol of self-creation, new life, and mystical union, otherwise known as alchemy. Those are some cool words. Oh wow, look at that. We have the union of two opposites, a Queen of Cups and the Knight of Discs. So the cups, like we were talking about, are the emotions. The discs are about the physical, the things that you can see, like your human body, right? The emotions we can't really see, but we can see what the emotions, the effect that the emotions have on the human body, right? You can see it in people's faces, but you can't really see their emotions. You just see the effect that those emotions are having on them. So this feels like the same, the union between the invisible and the visible, right? When I talk about the invisible, I like to talk about the wind, right? Can you see the wind? No. Can you feel the wind? Yes, right? You see the effect that the wind has on trees, right? That is how we know the wind is there, because the trees start swaying back and forth. We go outside and we can feel the wind on our skin. So there's something about the union of the inner and the outer, the emotions and the outside, the inside and the outside, emotions and the physical, the queen and the knight, right? The two, male and female. We all are feminine and masculine inside. That is, both of them are within us, right? There is no just male and female. All males and females have masculine and feminine traits. And we are here to learn how to integrate them, how to embody both of them. We are here how to embody being an inner child while growing into an adult. Because adults are boring. When they don't have their inner child integrated to them, adults become boring and dull, and they just do the same thing over and over again. They never learn anything new. They never change their minds, their perspectives. They just think, I found what is right and that is right, even though it's not. So there is a transformation here that is happening. And it's happening because you are reminding yourself of who you are, reminding yourself of your passions, reminding yourself of what brings you joy and what brings you love, and then embodying and taking care of yourself, taking care of the inner child that never became an adult, the inner child that just got older and has experienced more. But that inner child has always been there, and it's time to take care of it. It's time to take care of yourself, and it's time for you to enjoy life a little bit more, especially if life has become boring and dull and and adult-like, right? So let's integrate both of them. Let's remind yourselves why it is that you are here. And we'll get some last bit of words of advice from the Office Oracle deck. Just chose 2 cards at random. First one is card number 3. Wow, nice. This is the divine influence. This is the invisible. So to explain what divine influence is, I used this scene, this episode from The Office. And in this episode, in this part specifically, Dunder Mifflin, their Scranton branch is about to get shut down. And Michael and Dwight decided to do something about it. So they went to David Wallace's house, and they were waiting for him outside. They were waiting for him to get there, because they were going to give him a stern talking and explain why they shouldn't be shut down, right? So they were there waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And while they were waiting, certain events and certain situations were going on that were out of their control, that were out of their reach. And Scranton branch somehow became saved. They somehow saved that, not themselves, just situations that were out of their control, managed to save their branch. So their branch didn't get shut down. And Michael and Dwight had nothing to do with it, but their focus and their energy is definitely mattered here, right? That they were focused on being able to save the branch. They had nothing to do with it, but it was saved. And that is kind of what a divine influence is, right? Things that are out of their control, things that we can't really see in front of our eyes are happening, and they are all helping you for you to achieve this love and joy, because we all deserve love and joy. That is why we are here, to figure out how to bring love and joy to ourselves. And yeah, there is magic going on here. There is magic that is at your disposal. The universe is willing to cooperate and help you with this transformation integration, right? Major arcanas are things that are out of our control. The minor arcana are things that are in our control. So the only thing that is in your control right now is to chase after that inner child, chase after what brings you joy and love, whatever makes you feel like a kid again. That is what I want you to be doing and focusing on. Number 28. Yes, this is your other option, right? Being alone. In this scene, Gabe says, "I can't be alone anymore, Andy. Do you like being alone with me right now?" And Andy says, "No, this is horrifying." And Gabe replies, "I don't like being alone with me either." So before you do anything else, learn how to be alone and not lonely. If you are feeling lonely, face the loneliness. Do not run away from it. It is actually impossible to run away from it, because you will always be with yourself. So remember, you are the one. Be the one that you need. I promise you that if you face the loneliness, you might just find out that you're actually pretty cool to hang out with. And not just that, but you're kind of a magical, freaking awesome being. I mean, look at all the things that you've gone through so far, and you are still alive. You are still here. You are still putting in effort. You are still trying. So be proud of yourself, and let's start focusing on what it is that you've always wanted to do, what it is that brings you love and joy. And let's focus on that. And it's okay to be alone at this moment, because it's not going to last forever. But the important thing is that we figure out how to be alone and not lonely, and how to best love ourselves and best treat ourselves, and to literally just bring ourselves love and joy. Because I think that is one of the most important things that we are here in this earth to do, to figure out. So I really hope this reading helped, Virgo. If it did help, please help me as well by leaving a like, leaving a comment, and subscribing if you would like to keep hanging out, as this is a safe place where we try to figure life out together. So thank you so much for being here. I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.